Hi guys, we are back and we are ready to start with our Firebase effort into this Okta versus Firebase authorization software, project, I guess, right? Here's the thing. Initially, I thought I was going to just use Firebase and Okta in the same application, in the same project that we're building here. Just so you kind of have both in the same place and you just kind of like toggle on and off or whatever. But I actually decided against it because it gets a little confusing. I don't want you to get confused because you really will never see two different auths systems, two different auth platforms in the exact same application. They're just kind of weird, right? They contradict each other. So you're only going to see one or the other. So there's no point in having them both in the same project. But at the same time, I can't really use the one that I have right now without making some heavy modifications, a lot of modifications, basically down to the bones again, like deleting and cleaning up everything and taking everything out, right? I can't. I have to do all of that, especially if I'm going to use React Routed DOM 6. For the Okta one that we just did until right now, I used React Routed DOM 5, and the reason why is because React Routed DOM 6 is brand new and I know a lot of you don't use it yet. So I'm the kind of guy that I just kind of wait a little bit until the whatever versioning that I'm using it's been out there for a little while. That way they have enough time to work out their bugs and things like that. But also because it's a lot harder to find resources to help you out and things like that and support. But if you do want to get cracking with React Routed DOM 6, if you like one of those that just have to have the latest of everything, then hey, by all means, go for it, right? So because of that, we're gonna use React Routed DOM 6 in the Firebase one, in the Firebase version. Another thing that changed, let me see what else changed. So another thing that changed was Firebase itself. Firebase it was Firebase 8 before, and now I'm going to be using Firebase 9, which uses a different way to control the auth object and stuff like that. Instead of namespacing, it uses modules instead. So that's going to be a little bit different if you are already, if you have used Firebase before and you're kind of taking this as a refresher, it's going to be a little different. All right, so before longer ado, I don't know, whatever. Let's just get started. All right, so instead of, like I said, cleaning this up and all that, I'm going to start a brand new project, like I said, because I think you should keep this Okta one for any future work you're going to do or whatever. You already have it there. So let's not clean up this one. Let's not mess this one up. And I'm going to go ahead and close it, and I am going to open a new one out of my coffee folder. So this is how I'm gonna do it. So I'm already here in my coffee app, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to CD back. Oops, that's not right. That's not right. There we go. CD back. Oh my God. There we go. You know what it is? I need coffee. All right. So we're back on the coffee now. You see this on the main coffee. So in there, we're gonna make we're not gonna make a directory. What we're gonna do is we're gonna create another application in there inside that coffee, but this one is gonna be called different. So we're going to do npx create React app, and this one's gonna be called coffee app FB, coffee app FB for Firebase. All right, so let's go ahead and run the application. Oh, I forgot. I need to create that. Should I say no? All right, yeah, let's do it. Remember what I said earlier about the version for Create React? That I need to make sure that it's a 5.3.0 because it's going through some changes as well. into version 6. So by the time you watch this video, you may already have version 6 available. So the initial one, this right here, will work just fine. But in this particular time that we're living, I have to use this one. So don't think that you're always gonna have to specify the version. Okay. All right. So create, enter. What did I do? Enter. What did I do? No management version. Okay, what version am I using here? Let's go to, maybe I got the numbers wrong. React, create React. Of course, that wouldn't be there. Let's just see if I go back to the very beginning of time. It'll tell me. Oh, it's 5.0. All right, so let's just use this one. npx create. By the way, how did I do that? It was with the arrow up. But that only works as long as your Visual Studio Code, or your terminal in this case, is open, okay? And I haven't closed this since I started this whole thing. If I would have closed this and, you know, opened it the next day brand new, I think the history would have been done. But as long as everything is still there, the history is still around, so you can just arrow up, and then I'll just go back in history of all the instructions that you wrote there, and then we eventually get to it. All right, so this one's gonna be Coffee app Facebook, and it's still in the Coffee folder. Yes, npx. Okay, cool. So hit enter, and now it should work. There we go. All right, so it's installing the packages, and again, this is going to be a brand new application. We're gonna be installing everything in there, so just bear with me. We have to do a little bit of cleaning, just like we did at the beginning, by taking off all the normal regular React stuff, and we're gonna have to install Material UI again, all of this crazy stuff. So if you don't want to hear me talk through all of this, if you already heard and saw all of this happen at the beginning of our Okta project, then you can just like turn off the video right now. Really, because you know, that's all I'm going to be talking about for the rest of the video. Okay, so you're not going to miss anything. But if you're brand new, if you just got here to this video through the algorithm and you missed out whatever we talked about Okta, you missed out all of this setup from Okta, but you don't want to go find it, then you want to stay in this video and look at it from here, then go ahead, stick around. All right, but I will be a lot faster at it, okay? So if you really want a little bit more detailed meat in the bones, go to the other video. All right, so we are in the Coffee app already created. Now we need to CD into it. So we're gonna go Coffee app Facebook. There you go. I'm not Facebook, Firebase. And there you go. We're in it now, and I want it to be in a new window, so I'm gonna put code dot space dot, and that's gonna open up a new instance of it, because this one over here is in my Coffee app instance, and I want to be in a Coffee, close that, in a Coffee app FB instance. Cool. All right, so just because I kind of want to keep this identical to the other, I'm gonna keep this one still open for a little bit, because I kind of want to copy over some of the wording and styles, maybe, I don't know. So I just kind of want to keep them the exact same way. So all right, so I'm gonna open up my integrated terminal here, make sure that this is running. I just did this like one of those nerds that developer. All right, so sorry, I didn't mean to offend the geeks out there. I'm kind of a nerd myself, if you haven't noticed. All right, so anyway, let's just see if we can run this. So npm run start, and it should just work, you know, just like it should work. Yes, it should work. Oh, where are we? There it is. All right, let's bring it over here so you can see it. There it is. It's working. All right, so I know this is working off out of the box. So let's go ahead and do some cleanup, just like we did here. Let's open my Coffee app and make sure that everything is set up correctly. And so we're going to start with the app.js. And starting with the app.js, we're not going to need this. And we're going to turn this into our classless function here. And we're not going to need any of this stuff in here. And we're going to leave it like that. And then let's see what else we got there. Yeah, we have a bunch of stuff there that we're gonna eventually need. So let's just keep it like this for now, and just put hello. And eventually we'll get to that. And we're not gonna need this app.js, so I'm just gonna delete that one. We're not gonna need this testing one. We're going to need the index, but we're not gonna need the vitals. We're not gonna need that. Okay, that's fine. That's fine, all fine. Oops, nope, don't cancel. There we go. Save, okay. We're not gonna need this logo, the vitals, obviously. The vitals is just tells you, like, you can console log some performance stuff about your app or whatever. We're not gonna do that. Delete that stuff. Okay, cool. All right, yeah, we'll get there. All right, so we're going to be using some new components and things like that, and pages and all that great stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and start it off now, just so we can have it there. Yep. All right, so let's just start with the header first. We're going to create a new component, new folder. Yep, new folder, and we're gonna call it components. And inside components, we're going to create a new file, and we're gonna call it header.js. 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 Cool. And in the header.js, we're going to eventually bring in a header from Material UI, but let's just create our folder structure here first. Our project structure. So let's create another one here called pages, and then inside pages we're going to have custom login. Excuse me. We're gonna have custom login.js. And now here we're gonna use RAFC. I told you already, and if you haven't heard this before, if you have the React Redux, React Native Snippets extension, you will be able to just type this shorthand here, and it will create the structure for your component there. So make sure that you go through my extensions video and watch that. Okay. All right. So I'm just gonna leave that the way it is, and then I'm going to open up another file, and this one is gonna be my home.js. And this one is also going to be IAFCE. Save it. And then another one, new file, is going to be profile.js. Yep. And RAFCE. And save it. And so the only difference here between Okta and this is that Okta doesn't need a registration file to create users because it's included inside of the Okta widget, and then Okta itself handles everything. But in Firebase, we're gonna need to do our own registration. So there's going to be one new file that we're gonna need here. We're gonna call it register. I got hiccups. Sorry. Okay, we're gonna call it register.js and RAFCE register. Cool. All right, let's see. And then here we have a config.js, right? So we're gonna call our config a little bit different. So let's go to the source folder here. Make sure they add it at their source root. We're gonna call ours Firebase.js. All right, I'm gonna keep that there. So we have pretty much everything we need. And I'm gonna go back to the header, and then I'm gonna go to the header here. Alright, so let's just close everything on the other page. It's gonna close them because we're gonna eventually go back to them, but not right now. I just want to clean this up and keep it down to the bare minimum so everyone else can catch up with us. Alright, for the header. So for the header, we're going to go ahead and install our Material UI. So for that, I am going to come over here and history to like right here, so I can just copy it and paste it. So I'm gonna copy that, and then I'm gonna come to my new terminal right here, which I can open an extra one with this, and then I'm gonna copy it right there. All right, so if you're new, if you're old, you already, if you're not new to this series, if you already watched this in the Okta one, you know what I'm doing. But if you didn't, if you just landed here, what I'm doing here basically is I am installing the Material UI files or packages that I need for React and all of my styling and the icons, because I might in the future end up using icons for it. Okay, I probably won't. I'm pretty sure that I won't use icons, but you might, so it's good to have. If you're wondering where I got this from, then just go to the material. Just go to the Material UI right here, and get acquainted with this right here. If you also need to know a little bit more, or you want to know a little bit more about Material UI and what is all that is in there and this great stuff, I have this amazing video that people are loving, and I'm getting great comments, and they're like daily. Okay, so go search it up. It's called Customizing the New Material UI or something like that, and I explained a lot of stuff in there, so just go through it. Okay, anyway, so we're going through this. Man, I should have just had this installing while I was talking all that crap. So anyway, yeah, so we're going to do this because the reason why I'm doing this, you don't really need Material UI. You could do you could do Bootstrap, you could do whatever you want, or you can just create your component, your header from scratch. But I want to save time. I don't want to do that. I don't want to create everything from scratch. So instead, I'm gonna use Material UI so I can just import stuff in here. So I'm gonna do header. I'm going to install it as a component first, and then now inside a header. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to bring this stuff here from Material and put it there, and then I'm going to bring in here this entire box. I'm going to pick up the entire return and replace my return with this return, and I'm going to get rid of some of this Okta stuff because I'm copying from another place. So don't worry, you're not going to be lost, because I am going to tell you what you're going to need, and you're just going to pause the video and take it from there. Alright, but let me see from my notes here to make sure that everything is going to work fine. Alright, so you're still going to need that. You're still going to need the type. Okay, so in this one, alright, so yeah, flex grow, that's fine. So this is all going to be fine. So you're not going to need this all state, obviously, because that's Okta stuff. You're not going to need this or this or this. Alright, I'm going to leave that in there. So I am going to bring inside my toolbar. So for my toolbar, yep, I'm gonna keep that in there, but then I'm going to bring I'm going to bring this profile, and I'm gonna put the profile link, the link to my profile right here, which I'm going to bring in there. I gotta do something about that link, so don't worry about it. And then so it's just basically that's gonna come from React router down right here. So I'm just gonna bring that React router DOM as well, so I don't have that issue. But careful now, I gotta get rid of this. Keep link. All right, and that's not gonna run, by the way, because I haven't installed React router DOM, so I gotta do that down here. In fact, I'm gonna do it right now. So I'm gonna put npm install React router DOM. Yeah, I'm gonna do that right now, only because I know that this is still part of the entire cleanup. You already had it in the Okta one, so might as well just have it here. All right, so now we have link, React router DOM. Okay, all that is great. Got the profile now. Link should be working, and then what else? Okay, and then the other thing that is gonna have here is going to be, I'm gonna bring these to be a little different. I'm gonna call the login handle login. I'm gonna put that above it instead, and then my logout is gonna be handle logout. And the reason why I'm not calling them login or logout, and I am calling them a little different, is because there are going to be functions that are going to be called login and logout that are going to be part of the Firebase functions. So I don't want to mix them up. So instead of mixing them up, rather do that. All right. Okay, handle login. All right, cool. I handle logout. All right, let me make sure that everything here is running. Alright, so yep, that's it, handle logout. Alright, cool. So I got that, and then this is going to be, for right now, they're just going to show 2 buttons up there, but eventually I am going to make sure that these buttons show according to whether you're logged in or logged out. Okay, but right now I just want my stuff to show. So obviously that's not going to show, that's going to throw an error, because you can just have a function call without a function. So instead, we're going to just so it doesn't fail on us, I'm going to go ahead and create, no, not there, sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and create inside my function the function calls for that. So it's gonna be constant handle login, and then arrow function, and just keep it that way. And I'm going to copy that and paste it in there, a little space in here, and then this one is going to be out, and hit save. So now I shouldn't have an error. There you go, it'll work, it's perfect. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our app.js, and we're going to be doing a little bit of a modification in here as well, so make sure that everything runs the way it should. Because again, I'm doing this to make sure that everything is up to par with the Okta, the structure. All right, so yeah, so for this one I am going to bring, right now, let's see what I have right now. Let's see what's going on. Right now it just says hello, and the reason why is because the only thing that I have there is this hello right here. So let's just finish up this setup real quickly. This is probably gonna be the longest video we're gonna talk. Okay, so I'm gonna bring in React from React. Okay, got that done. And let's see what else I'm gonna need. So I'm gonna need React router DOM, which is going to be a little bit different than the one that we did in Okta. So let's call this route. Make sure that it comes in from React router DOM. There you go. And besides route, we're also gonna need routes. So this is what used to be switch in React router DOM 5. I'm gonna copy this, and I'm gonna go to the index.js, because there's something else that I need to do there. And in here, I'm gonna bring router and delete that there. And I'm gonna bring that router and put it right here and save. Okay, so that is pretty much all that you need to do in the index.js. So you can close that if you want, but let's continue with the routes here. So we have that, and then I'm going to need from there the material UI box. So let's put that there, and let's see what else I need that is not okay. And I'm gonna bring in my my pages in here that we created. So we're gonna bring in home from, nope, not those. All right, so we'll do it manually. Import home. Yeah, import home from double 2 spaces back. I'm gonna go to the pages. Is it 2 spaces back? Home from pages. 1 space back. Yeah, 1 space back. One level back. Pages, and that's going to be home. I'm coming home. All right, and then the next one is going to be profile and another register and custom login. So let's just go ahead and do a couple of them, and then highlight this, Control D, custom login, from custom login, Control D after I highlight it, and then register, and Control D, and what am I missing? Profile. All right, I have those views in there, and on my header, and let's just go ahead and copy that and there, and then this one is going to be header, but that is going to be coming from components instead. Components, and that's going to be header. Yep. All right, so that's good. And then now in the and down here, we're going to bring in return this. We won't need this. We're going to be eventually changing this div into something else. And then I am going to bring in my header. Yep, and let's see what we got right here. Still compiling. Hopefully there's no errors. Don't worry about these little squiggly lines in yellow. That just means warnings. They're not errors. It's just telling us that we've added some imports. We're importing some elements here, some components that we're not using yet, but it's not really breaking anything. So it's just the warnings. So don't worry about it. All right, this is taking a little bit of time because it's got to go through all the packages that we installed and making sure that it all works. Okay. Anytime now. Okay, is it failing? It's failing. What's going on? Let's see. Maybe because of the router, it needs to actually have routes in it. Cannot read undefined rated path names. Yeah, it has to do with the router. Yep. So it has to do with the router. I guess we need to actually have some routes in there. So so what we're going to do is we're going to create. Let me just go ahead and grab what I got in my notes here and put it in here, and then I'll just explain what it is that I'm doing. And let me go ahead and take some of this stuff out. All right, cool. So what I'm doing here basically is I'm adding a box from that, and that's coming from material right here, and that's just for spacing. Okay, just a spacing, not a space like a box itself, but it's creating a container that I'm going to put stuff in it. Okay, and that's not, has nothing to do with the routes or anything. And then this one here, I'm going to actually block out that route because I am not going to use that yet. Eventually I'll tell you what that is in a minute. And just making sure that I have this, make sure it runs before I start explaining all of this. I'm hoping that I am using React Router 6, but let me go check. So I should have done this. If you know me for a while, you know that I always, yeah, so there we go. React Router DOM is what I'm using. It's perfect. And I am using all the material stuff. Yeah. Okay. So what is going on here? Did I save everything else? Let's go to the index. Where is our index? Index. Router. Okay. So this is wrong. This is supposed to be browser router as router. I'm sorry. Everyone makes mistakes. You will make mistakes. The greatest developers out there make mistakes all day, every day. All right, cool. So this is what I wanted. I wanted to make sure that I had this in the very clean state, just like we had the Okta one before we started. I have my home app because I am in my home URL. If I go to login, I should have login, custom login in here. And if I go to profile, I should have, well, not yet, but if I go into register, then I should have register show up here. Great. So now I know that I have my routes working. Now, just to explain a little bit and really quickly here what's going on, this route right here, this React Router DOM 6 is using, instead of switch, is using routes, and then the routes, instead of using components to represent what component you're going to use for this path, it uses element instead, which is it injects an object in there, and then the object will be the actual component that you're using. Same thing for this one. This one's going to use a custom login component injected as an object inside my element prop for the login, and then this one for the register, and so on and so forth. Okay, so there really isn't that much of a difference in the construct of it. Just a few things. So if you want a little bit more explanation about what this does and all that stuff, you could go back to the Okta ones where I actually talk a little bit more about this routing thing. But for right now, like I said, if you haven't watched my earlier videos about this series, I recommend you do. That way you have a background on what we're doing. Okay. All right. So I have been talking for a very long time, and I think this is a pretty long video as it is. But we are now at the beginning stages and at the clean state of the exact same application that we did with Okta. So now we can start with Firebase in our next video. All right, guys. All right. I'll see you soon.